welcome back. Gonna finish up the last couple of cards, then move on to the next phase in our operations. All of the cards with the pictures on them, other than the player marker cards, are called world cards in this game, and there's only one of each of those. But the special action cards, there's more than one per deck. So we're going to have to go back and edit the quantity on those cards. The cycle and play receives 4. The cycle only receives 2. Destroy card is 3. Move card is 3. Play 2 cards is 4. Polarity shift is 2. And shuffle discard is 2. When you go through to build this, and remember, you can pause the video and work along with it instead of watching the video and then going and doing it all. But when you go to do this, feel free to put in the quantity as you go. You can see that once we've edited the quantity, there's 72 cards. It shows here that all our decks are proofed. We're going to add a poker tuck box, 90 card capacity. It's the standard folding box you'll see on playing cards. Click the tan square for the outside. It's labeled 662 PNG. Normally I would have a more careful name, but it's easy to find visually. Proofing it, you can see it's a bit different than normal. The entire thing is printed out as a solid piece, and then it's folded and trimmed where it needs to be. My text, you may see, is outside of the blue safety line, but that doesn't really matter because if it goes off, it's going to wrap around the edge rather than be lost. We're using the 90 card box because even though we only have 72 actual cards, we still need room to fold up the rules and put those in there as well. Now we're going to go ahead and add the rules document. So go down to Documents, click on the word Documents or on the word Edit. Then once you reach the screen, Edit Documents or on the shape to come to the screen where you can actually put them in. We're going to be adding 2 separate documents to this. The first one we're going to set print this document to no. It's not going to ship with the game. It's going to be something that people can just download from the site. That's going to be the document that actually says World Builder Rules. Notice the title says Rules Simplified. This is an edited down version where some of the terms aren't really explained, but it's better for quick reference. Naming it here Rules Simplified, you should name it some variation on that. You may notice that the options for printing or downloading the document have actually changed within the last week. This document will be available for download, but it's also going to print and ship with the game. You're going to be selecting the file 6e2.pdf. Make sure not to choose the same file for both versions of the rules. The GameCrafter has been editing their interface a lot over the last couple of weeks. This has a number of advantages, but it does make it difficult to provide reliable information as to how things currently operate. So we have our documents, we have our decks, we have our boxes. So now we're going to edit the details on the game. I'm setting the price at $14.99, which will give a bit of a profit margin. Naming it World Builder. The game can be for anywhere from 2 to 4 players practically, though there are ways to play it with one player, so I'm leaving the bottom range at 1. This game is a card game. The genre is a bit tricky to pin down, as is the theme, so I've labeled the genre as abstract. The concept of World Builder is that the players are primordial gods building a world and struggling for dominance of the pantheon. There's another version of the game that just uses shapes and colors rather than the wheat and the shield and the instruments and so on and so forth. And at its core, that one is more of an educational game. So, when all's said and done, we're going to go ahead and call this version of the game educational also, because it's mostly about counting and symbol recognition. For audience, we're labeling it family because it's the sort of game that's really going to be better for a younger crowd. There is some strategy that can be worked in, but older audiences are somewhat likely to get bored with it. We list the setting as prehistoric because they're building a world, though there's nothing in the game that's really going to indicate that, other than the flavor text in the description. We're calling the primary mechanic strategy because even though there's a random draw element, there's a lot to be said for how you play your cards. Again, with the backdrops, we don't have specific backdrops for the games that we're building. So we're just trying to find something that vaguely matches the feel. You can go ahead and choose whatever backdrop you want when putting this together. All the backdrops are under root file, file set B, backdrops. Then you're going to have to go back to the World Builder to get the other images. Notice that this file doesn't work because we're going for the game cover, not for the shop ad. And third time's the charm. Shop ad we've already found. Again, the shop ad is the part that's viewable when people are looking to buy games in the general store. The game cover is what appears on your shop page itself. Now, for action shots, we don't have any shots of people playing the game or of the cards themselves. So instead, we're going to choose a few pieces of the game that are representative. When you do this, try to get at least one special action card and at least one world card. That way, people that are thinking about buying the game can get some understanding of what they're getting. Cycle and Play is, along with Play 2, going to be one of the most commonly played cards, which is why I'm selecting that. Polarity Shift is going to be one of the least played cards, but it has probably the greatest game effect of any of them. For the moment, I'm not bothering with the game information, the tagline, and the cool things. Go ahead and fill in whatever you want. It's a fast-paced game. You're playing gods trying to construct a world. Easy to learn, maybe even educational. There is a bit that we missed that we haven't had to worry about with any of the other games that we've produced. We're going to go hit Publish to get back to the My Games, then click on World Builder again and click on Parts. You may recall, every game is given a large black box by default. Since we're using a tuck box, we don't need that. So we're going to go through and remove it. Feel free not to fill in the tagline and the cool things on this one, but you're welcome to if you feel like it. You can even go through the rules if you like to find information there. But remember, these lessons aren't being graded, only the final project is. Once you're done, go back to the shop page, copy the URL, and as usual, submit the URL along with a reflection of this process to the blog. Now I'm going to go ahead and delete this game so that you can come through and remake it. Remember, don't delete it yourself because we're going to need it there so that I can review it.